In the early hours of August 13th, 2018, 34-year-old Shanann Watts, who was 15 weeks pregnant, returned home to Frederick, Colorado after a business trip. Her friend Nicole Atkinson dropped her off. Later that morning, Shanann missed a pregnancy doctor's appointment and didn't answer calls. By 1:30 p.m., Atkinson grew concerned and called 911, asking for a police welfare check.
County Communications, this is Stacey.
Hi, Stacey. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and she's having issues, and she's pregnant, and I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other two daughters, but, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car?
Officers found Shanann's car in the garage, her keys, phone, purse, and wallet inside the house, but Shanann and her daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, were missing. The house was locked, and nothing seemed disturbed. Chris Watts, Shanann's 33-year-old husband, told officers he last saw her around 5 a.m. before leaving for work, claiming she planned to take the girls to a friend's house.
So posted on the 12th. That was on Chase. It was like $15. It was very kind of vague. Taxi cab limousine service.
Does she have a passport?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure she keeps that one.
Kids have passports?
No, they're old enough.
How old are they?
4 and 3. Yeah, they're old enough. Oh, there. Okay.
What's this door right here go to? It's locked. Do you have a key for it?
Yeah, they wake up, they'll just go right here and just play with that.
Well, that's private.
So you normally keep it locked? Yeah, because they would go in there, they'd be in the soap. Like last time we had Vaseline everywhere. So that was not fun.
So does she normally make the beds, the kids' beds?
No. Not normally.
We're gonna try. All right. All right.
As police and neighbors searched, a neighbor, Nate Tranastic, provided security footage from his home. The video showed Chris backing his truck into the garage in the early hours, loading it with unknown items, but no sign of Shanann or the girls leaving.
Nice to meet you. So we're just waiting for our sergeant to come over, and we'd like to go through your house. Are you okay with us searching through your house? All right. We'll have you sign a consent form. We just want to see if you left a note or anything inconspicuous, something like that.
All right.
Watching the footage with officers, Chris appeared oddly calm, and his statements didn't add up. Investigators noted he spoke about his family in the past tense, raising suspicions. By August 14th, with the family still missing, police brought in the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, CBI, and FBI, and classified the case as an endangered missing persons investigation. That day, Chris appeared on local news, standing on his porch, pleading for his family's return. However, his nervous body language, rocking, licking lips, folding arms, and impersonal references to his wife and daughters, calling them they and those kids instead of using their names, made investigators even more suspicious.
What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know where my kids are. I don't know where Shanann is. It's not something I could ever fathom would happen in my lifetime, and I have no inclination of where she is. Yeah. We've reached out to friends, family. Both of our families are back in North Carolina, so they're beside themselves. Like, we all have friends in North Carolina. We have friends here. We have friends everywhere. And not knowing like where she is or where the kids are, I don't know what to do right now. I just feel so alone in this house right now, and I don't know where to go from here right now. Just knowing that it's come to this and that she didn't come home last night with the kids. Like, Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, if you're out there, please, just come home.
And you, yesterday, when her friends were calling frantic, something in you said, well, she'll just be home.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like her not to answer a phone call or a text. And when her friend Nicole showed up at the door, I was just like, all right, something's up. And I came home, and it was like I walked into a ghost town. Like, everything, she wasn't here, kids weren't here. It was just they were here and then they were gone.
Yeah. And did you see the kids in the morning too?
Just in the monitor.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you leave really early.
Mm-hmm.
CBI agent Tammy Lee later said his on-camera behavior increased their urgency to get him into an interrogation room. By August 15th, investigators uncovered serious evidence of foul play. They discovered Chris was having an affair with his 30-year-old co-worker, Nickel Kessinger, contradicting his earlier denials. That morning, Chris voluntarily went to the police station, accompanied by his father. Investigators asked him to take a polygraph test, which he failed completely.
It is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. And I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. And when people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this. And I appreciate that, because you knew sitting down in that chair that you weren't going to pass today, and you knew I was going to find out because I told you that. And then you continued to stay knowing that you could at the end say, you know what, I just need to get this off my chest. Like, I just need to tell you what happened. We're not here to play games. We're not here to do any of that with you. We just want to know what happened. So can you start from the beginning and tell us what happened?
I'm not proud of it. Like, I didn't think anything like that could happen. I don't think I'd ever do it, but I did.
I know. Keep going.
And she accused me of it. I denied it. I cheated on her, and I feel horrible for it. Like, she was pregnant, and it was, I don't want to, I didn't hurt her. I cheated on her. I hurt her emotionally. I cheated on her. And I feel absolutely horrible about this, but that's what I've been holding. When I didn't go to the Rocky game, I was with her.
Okay.
I went to dinner with her.
Okay.
Meanwhile, authorities searched a remote Anadarko petroleum oil field where Chris worked. Using GPS data from his truck and aerial drones, they spotted a white bedsheet near a tank battery and disturbed earth, suggesting a shallow grave. The sheet matched pillowcases and bedding found in the Watts home's trash can, linking the house to the oil site. CBI agent Tammy Lee suggested a scenario. Had Shanann hurt the girls, prompting him to retaliate? Chris then asked to speak with his father, Ronnie. Alone with him, but still being recorded, Chris finally confessed, but with a lie. He admitted to strangling Shanann, but claimed it was in a rage after seeing her smother Bella and Celeste. Investigators were skeptical, but they had what they needed: his admission and the victims' locations.
I don't want to protect her. What? I don't want to protect her. You don't want to protect her? I don't know what else to say. What happened? Huh? She hurt him? Yeah. And then I freaked out. Well, no, I freaked out, not her. You're a girl. Did they leave after that for a long time? So she started hurting kids. Paper. Oh, you guys want to have? She smelled it. Or choking. No. I didn't hear anything. When I was downstairs, they came back up and they were gone.
That evening, authorities recovered Shanann's body from a shallow grave near the oil tanks and found Bella and Celeste submerged in separate crude oil storage tanks. By the morning of August 16th, rescue crews carefully removed the girls' bodies from the oil tanks, where they had been submerged for 4 days. That same day, Chris appeared in Weld County Court for a bond hearing, now formally charged with the murders. The tragic reality was now clear. Shanann had been murdered in her home, while Bella and Celeste were taken alive to the oil site and killed there. GPS records later confirmed Chris drove straight from his house to the oil field that morning. In just 3 days, Chris was in custody, and all 3 victims had been found. All 3 victims died from asphyxiation. Shanann had been strangled, while Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3, were smothered. Shanann's body, exhumed on August 16th, was buried in a shallow grave, wearing only a t-shirt and underwear. The coroner noted abrasions on her neck and face, likely from pressure marks, but no severe internal injuries. Her strangulation was slow, not instantaneous, according to Weld County District Attorney Michael Rourke. Bella's autopsy revealed she fought for her life. She had blunt force trauma to her jaw, cuts and bruises in her mouth, and bite marks on her tongue. Prosecutors concluded Bella fought for her life as she was smothered. Celeste showed no external injuries apart from the effects of the crude oil she had been submerged in for 4 days. Investigators compiled a 2,000-page discovery file of evidence against Chris Watts, including forensic analysis, text messages, interviews, and CCTV footage. Key physical evidence directly linked him to the crime. A fitted bedsheet found at the oil site matched the Watts master bed linens, with the matching pillowcases and top sheet discovered in the kitchen trash. This strongly suggested that Chris had transported Shanann's body using the bedding before disposing of it.
Smell-wise.
So that one's the one that needs to go by itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
think we can just like drape it over this bar.
GPS data from his work truck and phone records confirmed that on August 13th, he drove straight to the oil site after leaving his home, proving he had planned where to dispose of the bodies. His phone logs also showed other suspicious activity. That morning, before Shanann was even reported missing, he had already unenrolled Bella and Celeste from school and contacted a realtor about selling the family home. The next day, while still pretending to search for his family, he disposed of incriminating items in a neighborhood dumpster, including his clothing and the Yankees-branded blanket that had belonged to his daughters. Digital records also revealed the breakdown of his marriage in the months leading up to the murders. Investigators recovered texts between Chris and Shanann, showing her pleading with him to fix their relationship, while Chris became increasingly distant and uninterested. Shanann had been actively trying to save their marriage, sending self-help books and writing heartfelt messages, but Chris barely responded. In the weeks before the murders, Shanann confided in friends that her husband had become cold and detached. Meanwhile, Chris was secretly planning a new life without her. He had told co-workers that he would be working alone at a remote site on August 13th, the same place where the bodies were later found. He had also searched online for relationship advice, looked up vacation spots, and even browsed apartment rentals. Everything pointed to him preparing for a future without his family while keeping up the facade of a normal life. A crucial piece of evidence came from Chris's mistress, Nicole Kessinger, a co-worker at Anadarko Petroleum. She came forward to police on August 15th after seeing news reports about the missing family. Kessinger revealed that she had been in a romantic relationship with Chris since June 2018, but he had lied to her. When Kessinger realized Shanann was not an ex-wife, but a missing, pregnant woman, she became suspicious and fully cooperated with police. Phone records showed that on August 13th, the very day of the murders, Chris and Kessinger had spoken on the phone multiple times. She later recalled that he seemed strangely unemotional, even as his family had just disappeared.
She said something that's important, that if he didn't have a child on the way, or if she didn't know that, she would have continued the relationship, right?
But he killed his kids. At what point does he think that I'm going to be in a relationship?
I'm not talking about the children. I'm just talking specifically about her. If you only knew, if the kids were still here, and he called you and said, "I'm divorced from my wife," and he gets away with this, do you understand what I'm thinking from his aspect?
I still wouldn't do it. I still wouldn't do it because I'd be like, where did she go?
Okay.
Because I'm under the impression that she's a really good mom. Like, he never bashed her momming skills. Like, no, I wouldn't, no.
Okay.
No.
And you see where I'm trying to take that?
Yes.
So, you guys never had a conversation about the child, period?
I didn't know at all.
All right. And by your words, if you did know, you would have ended the relationship.
Well, because it wouldn't have made sense to me that he's like, I'm getting separated. Oh, by the way, I have a baby on the way. It's like,
that's 15 weeks.
You are a liar. You're just trying to sleep with me. That's what I would have probably interpreted that as, and I'd have just shut that off at work, and that would have been the end of it.
Okay.
On the same day the murders took place, she searched for Shanann's name and read news reports about the missing family. In the days that followed, she also Googled Amber Frey, the mistress from the Scott Peterson case, and phrases like, "Do people hate Amber Frey?" and whether Frey had profited from a book deal. With Chris's confession and physical evidence aligning, police had enough to charge him with all 3 murders. However, the full truth remained unclear until February 2019, when he gave a 5-hour confession, admitting to premeditated murder rather than a crime of passion. He described waiting for Shanann to fall asleep before strangling her. As she struggled, her last words were, "Chris, this is a great life, and you're going to throw it all away?" The attack lasted long minutes, but Shanann didn't resist, possibly thinking he wouldn't go through with it. Moments later, 4-year-old Bella walked in and saw her mother's lifeless body. "What's wrong with Mommy?" she asked. Chris told her Shanann was sick and needed a doctor. He wrapped Shanann in a bedsheet, carried her downstairs, and loaded her into his truck. Bella and Celeste, still alive and confused, sat in the back seat beside their mother's corpse as Chris drove 45 minutes to the oil site. During the drive, Bella noticed the smell and innocently asked, "Daddy, it smells." At Survey 319, Chris dragged Shanann's body out of the truck and placed her on the ground before turning to Celeste, who clutched her blue blankie. Using the blanket, he smothered the 3-year-old in the back seat, killing her in front of her sister. Celeste did not fight back, likely due to her young age, and within moments, she was gone. Bella, watching in horror, cried out, "Daddy, no!" Her final words before Chris turned on her next. Unlike Celeste, Bella struggled fiercely for her life, twisting her head side to side, biting her tongue, and fighting as he smothered her. But Chris overpowered her, taking her life in the same way he had taken her sister's. With all 3 victims dead, Chris dragged Shanann's body to a shallow pit he had dug earlier and buried her in the dirt. For his daughters, he opened the hatches of 2 oil storage tanks and one by one shoved their bodies through the tight 8-inch openings, submerging them in crude oil. DA Michael Rourke later described how Chris threw away his daughters as if they were garbage, even separating them so they would not be together in death. The effort was so brutal and careless that investigators later found scratches on Bella's body and strands of her hair caught in the tank hatch, evidence of the force used to push her through. In his 2019 confession, Chris admitted that he had no real plan beyond hiding the bodies, believing that the oil site was remote enough that they might never be found. He briefly contemplated suicide that day, feeling he didn't deserve to live, but ultimately he chose to go home, clean up, and fabricate his cover story instead.
Just wait. Hi guys, say
What's
hi
going
Bella. We gotta get you dressed, kid.
I
Look
know,
what Bella's
right?
eating. Bella's eating some of the ingredients.
She got a nice little bowl of chocolate chips.
Look at that. What is that, Bella? Can you show them? What is it? Is it chocolate?
Is it chocolate?
It's chocolate little mini morsels, right? Yeah, good job. So she's been eating my peanut butter and the chocolate morsels so far today. So we're gonna let a few more people hop on and then we're gonna get cooking here.
Despite finally confessing, Chris has provided very little explanations for his actions. In the February 2019 interview, he admitted that he was not in a blind rage, but instead felt numb and emotionless as he carried out the murders. Chris Watts admitted that after killing Shanann, he felt nothing and had no urge to stop. He claimed his anger toward her extended to their daughters, seeing them as part of her. He acknowledged his affair with Nicole Kessinger as a catalyst, but insisted she never encouraged him to harm anyone. In prison letters, he revealed he had premeditated the murders, deciding the night before that it would be the last time he tucked in Bella and Celeste. Psychologists classify Watts as a family annihilator, driven by narcissistic entitlement. Rather than face divorce, he chose to eliminate his family, believing he could manipulate those around him. On November...
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
Mr. Watts, did you confess?
On November 6, 2018, Watts pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. Despite their grief, Shanann's family requested prosecutors not seek execution, wanting to spare themselves years of legal battles. At his emotional sentencing on November 19th, Shanann's father called him heartless and wished he would see his victims' faces every time he closed his eyes. Her mother, while struggling to understand his betrayal, told him, "Your life is now between you and God." Watts remained silent, refusing to apologize. Judge Marcelo Kopkow sentenced him to 5 life terms without parole, 3 for the murders of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, plus 2 more for killing his daughters as children under 12 in his care. He also received 48 years for the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and 36 years for tampering with the bodies. Even if his life sentences were ever reduced, the additional decades ensure he will never leave prison. May Shanann, Bella, and Celeste rest in peace. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Don't hesitate to leave a like, a comment, and to subscribe to not miss the next videos. Stay safe.